Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This little video is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. I've been telling my family and friends that when I hit 100 subscribers, I was gonna make it. Currently at 122 subscribers, so thank you guys so much. I'm so grateful for every one of you. A really quick disclaimer. This video was really hard to film. We redid it about 3 or 4 times, but it's still not perfect. There's a couple parts where I'm writing and it's kind of cut off. You can basically understand what I'm saying, but just kind of disregard those little gaps. Also, there's a couple of things that I forgot to mention. I didn't mention my Acts retreats that I went on and that I served on, and those are some things that really impacted my life and they helped me get through a lot as well. So anybody from Acts, I love you guys and I did not forget about you. Another thing is I forgot about my little brother Miguel. Did not put him in the video. And I am so sorry, Miguel, if you're watching this. I love you. I was just in college during that time and I feel like there was a lot of crazy stuff that was happening and I feel really bad for not putting him in, but he's my youngest brother. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So anyways, here's the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, show me some love. This is something that was very hard for me to do. I don't really like to talk about my past. So here it is. Now, I was a premature baby and I'm telling you, you could fit me in the palm of your hand. I was so small. For a long time, it was just me and my mom. My dad wasn't really in the picture. But my mom actually met this man named Rene, and he loved us and he wanted to claim me as his own. So he is actually my father. They got married and they actually had my little baby brother Jeremy, who is 4 years younger than me. They didn't last more than a few years because they were fighting a lot. So when I was 7, he was 3, they split up. And after that, we've lived in about 16 different houses, so I'm not really gonna get into all the moving in my life. While all that's going on, I obviously was in elementary school. I tried not to let any of that stuff get to me, even though it was pretty hard. I played the flute in band in 5th grade, and I actually had A's and B's for my whole elementary school career. My brother was with me for a little bit of that time, and we would spend a lot of time at my abuela's house. That's my grandma on my dad's side, and she would feed us and she would love us, and I owe a lot of my happy memories to her and just being at her house with her. And actually in 6th grade, I traded out my flute for some dancing shoes and I was in Folklorico. If you don't know what that is, it's actually a Mexican style of dance and I loved it so much, more than you would even think. Now, obviously it was hard with my parents being divorced and going back and forth, but it was actually a blessing in disguise and I wouldn't have it any other way because I actually gained a lot more family in that situation. My mom actually met somebody else and they had my little brother Matthew. He's a pain in my butt, but I love him. And also on the other end of the spectrum, that's my family, my dad actually met somebody else. Her name is Mayra, and she has been my stepmom for a long time now. And not only am I grateful for that, but I'm grateful because she gave me my 2 step siblings, Jasmine and Josh, and they have helped me through so much and I've learned so much from them. I don't know what I would do without them. It's crazy. Now, obviously, while all that's happening, I'm growing. I'm in middle school. In middle school, I started cheerleading and choir, which ended up being 2 of my passions that I loved for a long time. And for the most part, it was a really fun time. I got along with everybody up until maybe my 8th grade year when I ran into some trouble with some girls. There was a lot of rumors going around about me, some bullying, and it just kind of made me a little uncomfortable. I've always been told to turn the other cheek, but I guess at that age I was really vulnerable, and honestly it was really sad, and I wasn't sure why all of it was happening. I just wanted something different. So my family and I decided that it was time for a change. I applied at the Health Professions Magnet in Bel Air, and I got in. So it was a nice fresh start. I wanted to be a nurse for the premature babies. I still did everything that I did in middle school, and it was my quince. I had all my friends there. I was honestly having a really good time for the beginning of my freshman year. But unfortunately, when it rains, it pours. And one day before my quince, my mom and I were watching TV, and we saw my old dance teacher from elementary school being arrested. And we were very confused because from what I had remembered, he was a great man. But in reality, he was a sick man who did a lot of bad things to a lot of young kids, including myself. And he ended up going to jail for a very, very long time. And that is something that I will never be able to forget. And on top of that, I was actually having a lot of pain in my ovaries, which eventually led to me being diagnosed with endometriosis. It was a really tough time, but it's something that I'm able to cope with now. But thankfully, I met my high school sweetheart around the same time, and he helped me through a lot, and he really was there for me with whatever that I needed. Not only did he show me so much love, he showed me a lot of really cool music. And even though we didn't end up together, he's still someone that I consider very close to me and somebody that I will owe so much to. And we grew up and we grew apart, and that's okay. But it did leave me a little high and dry, and I wasn't sure with what I wanted to do anymore. I was clueless when it came to applying for colleges and what I wanted to do. All I kind of knew was that I did want to go somewhere in San Antonio. So I set up an interview with St. Mary's University, got an on-the-spot admission. I packed my bags and I just kind of went for it. I decided that I wanted to go to San Antonio, and that's what I did. Now, San Antonio was one of the best times of my life. I feel like that's where I really found myself. I came out of my shell. Of course, I got a great education, but I also met a lot of really good lifelong friends that I still talk to this day. And they showed me a different kind of love that I wasn't used to. But in the end, money was always an issue in the back of my head. It was a really expensive school, and I didn't really realize what I was getting myself into. So, shocker, shocker, the money caught up to me, and I unfortunately ended up having to move back home to El Paso. While I got back, I realized that I had gained quite a few pounds while I was over there. I was eating out a lot and drinking a lot and having a lot of fun, but I wasn't really happy with how I looked. So I started going to the gym religiously. I got my membership and I was at the gym at least twice a day. Oh, that's not what a foot looks like. I did so much cardio that I swear if I did any more, I would disappear. Then after a couple of applications and interviews, I got hired at Cheddar's, the job that I'm at now. I've been there for about almost 3 years. It's a love-hate relationship, but I met a couple of really, really cool girls there who ended up changing my life even more than I thought could happen. So we actually took our relationship to the next level and took it outside of Cheddar's. We got a house together. We rented a house. And when I tell you those were some of the funnest times of my life, I felt so at peace. I felt so happy. There were always people there. We always had parties. And it was just an amazing time. But yet again, money was an issue. We were working 2 jobs, and it wasn't really something that was enjoyable to us anymore. It wasn't worth it. So we decided to give that up for a bit. So just as abruptly as the decision was for us to move into that house, we quickly decided that we were not going to renew the lease. And there I was with my stuff and my little puppy Winston, and I didn't know what else to do. So I went to my mom and I asked her if I could move back in full circle. And of course, she welcomed me with open arms, even though we agree on virtually nothing. We decided that it was what was for the best, so I moved in with her and my brother, and it was a smart choice. I needed to save money. I needed to get back into school. I needed to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. Now, obviously, it's been a rough year, but I've been able to focus on saving money and being a more positive person, not so pessimistic, not tired all the time. I found my passion for cosmetology, and I've just been trying to be a happier person. I've struggled with my mental health for a very long time, and I feel like I'm finally gaining control back of my brain. And somehow along the way, here I am on YouTube, which I would have never expected for myself, but I would not want it any other way. I am so blessed with all of you guys who are here. I could have never imagined. I will not stop saying that, but I'm very happy with how I am right now, and I love you guys so much, and I appreciate everything that you guys have already given me. I want you guys to know that you're never alone, and that my messages are always open for anybody who needs anything at all. I'm more than willing to help you. But I love you guys. Okay, bye.